everybody, welcome back to Hack and Splash Page. I'm Tiffany, and today we're actually not doing a book by Image. Instead, I want to talk to you about a book published by Vertigo. Hinterkind, The Waking World, written by Ian Edgington, with art by Francesco Trafalgi. One of those. This is volume 1 and it covers the first 5 issues. This story takes place some 20 years after the catastrophic event that has caused the fall of humanity. However, unlike the more standard, kind of war-torn, raised earth, Thunderdome version of the planet and a post-apocalyptic afterglow, this world is verdant with lush vegetation. Humans are not all gone, but they are scattered and living off the new land, keeping in contact with one another via, of all things, CB radio. At the start of the book, we meet Prosper Monday, who is a teenager. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure she is. From a surviving village in New York. She has skill with a bow and hunts wild game like zebras and such. Look, there's somewhere around like 5 different zoos in New York, so the island pretty much is populated by exotic animals from all over. The trouble really begins though when the village loses contact with an outpost. Could it be the plague or marauders? Prosper's grandfather doesn't believe it's either, and he volunteers to head off on foot to find out. He'll be leaving his granddaughter behind, which crushes her as he is seemingly her only family. Around the same time, Prosper's best friend Angus decides that he is better off leaving the village, as a result of a recent visit by Prosper. After returning from a hunt, Prosper decides to drop by Angus's place, and she ends up catching him in the midst of changing, which is really no big deal because they've been friends forever. However, Angus is a little something extra that he didn't used to have. A mouse tail. He knows he can't hide it forever, and he doesn't think that the people of the village are going to react too kindly to it when they find out. It was a good thing that she did, as they soon come across a pride of Lygons, which are tigers with, lion manes. Normally this would be the biggest of their woes, except this is the moment they discover that something more than humans, flora, and fauna are living on Earth now. A 6-armed troll appears and catches the Lygons before his attention turns to Prosper and Angus. After a daring escape, the two realize that they cannot return to the village because no one there will believe them, or even worse, they'll shut the village doors forever, which will leave her grandfather out in the cold. Prosper also has a sobering moment where she realizes that her grandfather Asa may actually already be dead. She's not ready to give up on him and wants to set off with Angus to search for him. Enter John Hobb, a man who appears out of nowhere and offers to guide the two, but turns out to not be what he seems. Off in the rest of the world, we discover that the beings that we would associate with fairy tales are moving in from all over. They've always been there, but after humans came on the scene, they were forced into hiding. Those who could try to find ways to fit in, like docking their ears. This sort of alteration doesn't go over well with the other Hinterkind. The oldest of the Hinterkind are the She, whose queen and her daughter do not see eye to eye on the subject of humans. The princess is concerned with the future rule as other races begin to aggressively move over the earth. She believes that the humans who are left should serve as a message to them. The rest of the first volume is filled with bounty hunters seeking out human remains, humans who became hobbled together Frankenstein monsters after they took a miracle cure, reunions, violence, death, betrayal, and discovery. There's actually a unicorn earlier on in the story, and he was involved in some human consumption, and his boss wasn't too pleased with that, so he ended up being gone. But there was a unicorn at one point. Edgington does some interesting things with the story and dialogue. Creatures like the trolls speak with a broken language that uses slang terms that may seem familiar to the reader. The story feels like it comes in the middle of something, which kind of sounds weird, I know, but knowing humanity's and the Hinterkind's history before this point, paired with the ongoing narration provided by the Book of Monday, helps to punctuate the feeling that the Earth will go on regardless of who lives on it. Trafalgar's art is loose. It has this sort of rawness that reflects the nature of the story. The world is beautiful but conceals harshness and danger, while also being dangerous itself. These notes can be found in the art. There are some really lovely images, but there are also plenty of jagged lines and violent scenes. As much as the interiors are fun, the standout art for me was the covers. Greg Ticini creates these beautifully expressive images that capture some of what's going on in each issue, as a cover should. They also drive me crazy because they look like watercolors, but they also look like they're digital. I don't know, they're like digital watercolors, which I know you can do, but it doesn't matter because they're pretty and I really like them. This story could easily be just a fun romp through a post-apocalyptic landscape with elves and trolls and Lygons, or it could be a commentary on the human race as a whole. It could be talking about humanity's need for ownership and the claim that we have staked on everything that we can see, and often things that we can't. The fact is that long before Lucy was walking around, the Earth had been spinning through the void just fine for billions of years. Look, we find it hard to share with our own species, so it's not really a stretch to imagine that if there were other intelligent beings, they too might go into hiding. It's kind of like the elves going to the Grey Havens, but then they come back and they kick our asses. It's even possible that it's less of a global issue and could be targeting the history of Americans and their relationship with Native Americans. Though that could be really set up anywhere on Earth that has experienced an event like that. Actually, what I like about this story is that you can examine it if you want, or you could just kind of go along for the ride. And look, I have no evidence to support this theory, but I feel like this title might be less well known, so I just really kind of wanted to pique your interest in it. So if you're interested in this, Volume 1 and 2 are already out, and Volume 3 will be out in June. We put a link in the description for the first volume, so you can pick it up right now. And look, I have no evidence to support this theory, but I feel like this title might be less well known, so I really just wanted to pique your interest in this, so there's not too many spoilers in this review. So here's my question to you. If the Hinterkind did exist and returned after the herd of humankind was thin, would you think that we deserve whatever justice they wrought upon us? If you enjoyed the show, give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and you can click here to check out all the other stuff we do on ComicPop. Also, if you look at the description down below, you can check out our TeePublic store where we just released our Ultron 8 shirt. That's right, he's a better father than you could ever be. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!